old habits. It's what happens when you get a little on the tired side. So, welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2307. Shoes off, sensors on. I hope you've all had a super fantastic sparkling day so far. If not, I got my shirt on that says live, love, sparkle. You know, you can't quite see the sparkle, but anyway. So, today started off a little on the slow side, which was nice. Then I got on the chat, and the chat was a little slow to start with, but then it went nuts. It went crazy and kept me busy the entire afternoon. And then when that finished, we then got ready to head up. Well, Mum and Dad had an appointment here at the house first, and then we left to go and view the house that I was looking to rent. Now, on the website, the house looks nice and clean. The grounds look fantastic. The house looks like it's light and bright and spacious. I'd already found out that the house is around the same size as my mum and dad's, which is pretty spacious. And so we get to this house, we park out front, and because we had to go and run some errands immediately afterwards, and we noticed these cars all pulling up around where the driveway was. Now, you had to walk down this long gravel driveway to get to the house, which wasn't too much of an issue. But as we're walking back up it. And so we go down and we wait there by the end of the driveway because the property management company says do not walk on the property unless accompanied by the property manager. So we waited for her to show up. She thought she was going to be 5 minutes late, so it sent out a note saying that she was going to be maybe 5 minutes late. She was actually on time. And so then she walks us down the driveway. There was probably 15 to, I mean, there's me, my mum and dad and I. So that's 3 people. Jeez, I'm tired. I'm sorry. Got woken up at 1 o'clock with my phone going off, and I thought it was meant to be on silent in certain apps, and it wasn't on one. So it was a very long night. So there are 3 of us, and then there was probably 15 to 18 other people waiting. Now, they were all in groups of 3s, 4s, and 5s. I don't think I saw any couples. I don't recall any couples. And so we followed the property manager down the side, and you can see overgrown trees. Now, I've got a truck coming with a container on the back. Is it going to get up there? Probably not. Oh, that was a concern. And then we get in, and everything looks like it did on the outside, although the gardens didn't look as good as they did in the photos. We then had to give our name as we walked in, and we got checked off on her phone. We did have to take our shoes off, which is something in New Zealand when you go viewing. If you go to an open home of any sort, you go through any model homes, you have to take your shoes off. In the States, it's just walk on in. But there was somebody at the house who was one of the tenants at the house, and they were in the 3rd bedroom, and they had the bed up against one wall, and then he was sitting in a computer chair with his computer thing set up at the end of the bed, and there was no way to get into the room. He was blocking entry into his room, basically. So you just had to look at the doorway and take a quick look in and move on. We basically had free reign of the house to go and have a look at everything. We were told to please excuse the mess because they are in the process of moving out, so there's a lot of boxes everywhere. There were boxes everywhere, but they were neatly stacked. They weren't just thrown higgledy-piggledy. Everything was neatly stacked and neatly organized. You could not get into the living. You could get about 4 feet into the living room, and that was it, because there was boxes from the back hall all the way forward to that area where we were standing. You couldn't go through any of the other outdoor doors from the living room outside because they were blocked. We got in there, and it was a lot darker than I had expected. The hallway was very dark. And so we found our ways down to the thing, and the floor plan was pretty much okay, except for there were some things on the floor plan that weren't marked on the floor plan. Like when we got into the kitchen, there was a door from right by the front door, a sliding door, pocket door that went into the kitchen that was not on the floor plan. The end of the counter had like a semicircle island, had a circle island on the end of it, and that was not on the floor plan. But we walked around. It was very dark, very depressing. I didn't tell Mum and Dad that, but it was depressing. It just didn't have the vibe. We finally got outside to the backyard. Now, the photos showed this gorgeous backyard and everything else. It was, I mean, first of all, the thing that overwhelmed me was I thought we were going to be the only people to have a look through, that she had appointments at. No, she had a group of people. She just told everybody, show up at 2 o'clock, you'll go through. which I'm learning that that's how they do. I've already learned that when the house is for sale, they do open homes that way. Didn't realize they did the same if people were looking to rent. And she just basically stood outside in the driveway area and just answered questions and checked people in as they came in, and that sort of stuff. The gardens, which looked absolutely gorgeous in the photos, were completely overgrown. They didn't look anywhere near as pretty or as clean as they did on the photographs. So that was. I later found out that, well, I'd actually been searching earlier this morning because I wanted to see how big the house was, and I put the address into Google, found a listing for found the house there with that had how much land they had, how much square meters were in the house, or square footage if you're in the US, and it was around 1,900 square feet, which translates to around 180 meters squared. So it had these rooms that weren't as bright. I mean, the bedrooms weren't as bright and light as what they made them out to be, and the roof and the ceiling lights were on. And I was like, okay, yeah. The conservatory area was really nice and pretty, and two of the bedrooms, like the master bedroom and bedroom 2, which would have been the guest room, both open doors out into that conservatory area. And so we had a walk around the yard, and I was shocked by how bad the yard was. But in my research before we went today, I learned that it went on the market in beginning of 2023 as a rental, at 570 a week. That's New Zealand dollars. If you want to do the conversion, it's probably around 300 a week. And it was they listed it as a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, but it can't actually be listed as, actually it could, because there was a window in that bedroom. But it was a study that the door from the hall opened and you walked in, and there was your study area with a closet. There was a window there. It doesn't show up on the floor plan, but there was a window there. And then you walk across the room and through the door into the garage where the laundry was. So yes, it did actually have 4 true bedrooms. You have to have a 4 window in the bedroom, in a room to be called a bedroom. So 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms in a study. And it was very, very disheartening to see that it had nothing. It would look nothing like the pictures. So I don't know when the pictures were actually taken, but I suspect they may have been taken back at the beginning of 2023 when they first put the house on the market to rent, and they've never updated them. That is my suspicion. Because there was a lot of work that needed to be done in the garden. There was a lot of cleanup that had to be done inside the house. And they said when the tenants moved everything else, they had to go back. They would be going back in and cleaning everything. And I was like, yeah. Tenants don't tend to clean when they're leaving a place. They don't tend to clean as much as the property manager would like. So yeah, but I found out that the tenant is responsible for the gardens, like the low stuff, and mowing the lawns, but the owner of the property does the big trees. So I was sort of like, well, thank goodness I don't have to worry about those. But they said, the garden will be given a once over when the tenants moved out. And it was just because they told us they were doing some minor work on the house and that it would be ready for us to view today. But then when we got there, she went inside and says, we're bringing some more people through again, which means they'd already had people through. And she said the listing wasn't open till Tuesday, and we were on the first appointment for the viewing. So I was sort of like, okay. So when we got in the car afterwards, Mum and Dad and I were talking about it as we were off running the errands that had to be done. And we all felt the same. It was dark. It was claustrophobic. It was just dark and claustrophobic were the main things, but also depressing. So I knew that wasn't the right place for me. When I walk in a place, it's going to feel right. It's going to feel like I've come home. And that's the feeling I was looking for. I was shocked at the number of people that showed up, and there were still more people arriving while we were looking through the house as well. So I have no idea how many people they had to go through the house or how long the open house was on for. Most of them would do 30 minutes for a sale, but I don't know about rental if it's the same thing. They may probably follow the same thing. I don't know. But all I know is that place was not for me. So there is another place that's around the corner that's $100 more a week, and only has a single garage, not a double garage. And it's on a busy main road, it's on the road, so you can sit inside and look out. And I'm sort of like, my mother would be happy with that, because I sit here and give them the report of what's going on in the neighborhood. They didn't have much to report today. No. It's been very quiet on the streets today. But then it's end of year exams for the schools as well. So you only see the high school kids go past when they're doing exams that day, or have finished their exams and they're heading home. So yes, I'm going to see if we can get hold of the people for the other house, even though it is $100 more a week and only has a single garage. Again, it looks light and bright, but then they've got either this big skylight in the kitchen or it's a light that was shining when the photograph was taken. I don't know which. We'll find out when we get there. But the kitchen looked really cool, and more me, if that makes any sense. But I'm not in a rush. I found out today that my stuff from the States is due to arrive in the port of Wellington on the 1st of January, which means it won't clear cut. It will be sitting there for the 1st and the 2nd. I don't know if they'll actually get it offloaded on the 1st, because it's New Year's Day, but they won't get it. And the 2nd here in New Zealand is a holiday because we get the 1st and the 2nd of January off here in New Zealand. So I'm not sure. And then, of course, that's a Thursday, Friday. So it's probably going to be the following week before the customs even get to look at the shipments and stuff, and it goes through all the customs stuff. So probably looking delivery around end of the second week of, in the first week of January, maybe the second week. I don't know, but it'll be sometime in January. So yeah, so it's scheduled to arrive on the 1st of January. And then we're going to wait for customs to do their thing, and then we have to organize a delivery date. As soon as they know how long, as soon as customs release anything, the moving company will call me and we'll set a delivery date, and then they will get the address if I haven't given it to them beforehand, which I hope I will have. So it's I don't think it'll have been that long, but anyway, it's going to be here soon. So looking forward to that. But I do have questions for you today. So how do you typically respond when something doesn't live up to your expectations? And I was trying not to get excited about this place. Just let my senses take over and feel how it felt, just let the senses take over. Yeah, they got a little overwhelmed with the number of people. They got a little overwhelmed by the state that the house was in compared to the photographs that are like almost 3 years old. Yeah, so that was a little disappointing. What signals, physical, emotional, or intuitive, help you know when something isn't the right fit? Oh, it's mainly I'm relying on my intuition and my emotion and the physical feel of a place when I'm going through a house. And yeah, that didn't feel good when I'd taken my shoes off and walked inside, and I just didn't feel comfortable when we walked in. But I did the walkthrough because I thought maybe it's because of the crush of people that are around. But no, that feeling never left the entire time. In what areas of your life are you learning to trust your first impressions more? And probably just about everything. Yeah. What helps you stay open to possibility when a no shows up in your path? So when you're a no, what says you're open to possibilities? Because a no means that the path isn't right and I need to make an adjustment to get back on the right path. So when you receive obstacles and stuff, it's there for a reason. It is there to help you get back on the right path. So don't look at the no's as a negative, look at them as a positive, because you're getting guided by the universe to, hey, you need to be over here, not over here. So we're blocking this path off, so you'll divert over here. Or you might divert onto another road that takes you back to the original road. Who knows exactly how it works, but that's my theory anyway, and I'm sticking with it. It's my opinion and my theory, not a fact. But with that, I am out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I think. Hang on, have I got anything? Nope, we should be able to make that.